What quietly screams, rich, wealthy? Let me know in the comments below. I work in the private jet world. Rich takes tons of photos getting on the plane. Real money just walks straight onto the plane. I could go on for days about the differences. I used to know the price of a gallon of milk, but now I don't. I am not rich, but I used to be poor. I needed to know that price. Now we are blessed to have enough that if I need it, I just grab it without looking at the price tag. I imagine that being rich would be similar but on a grander scale. A Steinway concert grand piano in the living room, worth about $195,000, that no one in the household plays. I used to work at a clothing store. This lady comes in. She's well dressed, looks great, and is super polite to the people helping her. At checkout she pulls out a black Amex card. She was not my first black Amex card customer, but she was above and beyond more of a human than the others. I assume she was rich as fuck. Alan Clark, a British politician born into a wealthy family, once disparaged someone by describing them as the sort of person who bought all his own furniture. I know it's not a big thing, but people who use really nice plates and silver cutlery very casually. I've seen poor people with Mustangs, but I've never seen poor people eating with polished silver. Not checking the price tag before buying. Owning a second house or a boat and not feeling obligated to use it heavily. Rocking socks and flops but sporting a $200K watch. Retired with no debt before being in your 50s. Speaking about your plans for your life with full expectations that they will be successful, no matter how unrealistic they would be to the rest of us. I plan to become a writer, but in the meantime I'm thinking of opening my own art gallery. I'll totally be successful. All my wealthy friends will buy shit from me. Then I'll hire someone to run things while I travel. For the experience I'll need to do my writing. Sofa in the middle of the living room and not touching the wall is an easy way to tell. The ability to purchase lumber. Wealth is quiet. Rich is loud. Poor is flashy. Credit, Tim Denning. Money. 100% of rich people have money. I used to work in private aviation. The richest man I personally knew from the job owned a fully spec'd up Gulfstream G650ER. Roughly $80 million with its spec package. Other than when he was getting on and off his personal aircraft that he used to fly between his home in Hong Kong and our base in Canada. You would never know he was that wealthy. He'd often show up for his flight in a beat-up old minivan that he liked cause he could fit lots of stuff in the back. Very humble guy. Amazing tipper. Now the simply rich people, or the ones that had just enough money to fly private, were the worst. Rude. Entitled. Cheap. Took 3 million pictures the whole time they were getting on their chartered, not owned, Learjet. Literally less comfortable than premium economy on the airlines. And just overall acted exactly like how rich people are portrayed in the media. I met many other ultra-wealthy people in that work, and most of them were all like the first guy. Very chilled and friendly. Didn't feel the need to show off anything. Nantucket. Not being concerned with whether other people think you are wealthy or not. A family member owns a lake house but always refers to it as just a little weekend place, like it's no big deal and everyone has one. Not wearing designer goods obnoxiously. Not wearing obnoxious amounts of jewelry. Not posting on social media showing off your cars, house, holidays. Saw someone say once, everyone enters their house through a garage that's empty except for some bottled water. I don't know why, but this is so true. Maybe not quietly, but being able to afford college without loans, financial aid, or having a job screams money. Bonus points if the parents are bankrolling the whole experience. Extensive knowledge of tax loopholes and tricks. Perfect teeth. It's always the perfect teeth. Designer clothes but not fancy, they are dressed very casual, not showing it off as such. Their attitude. Very wealthy people don't rush. They walk slowly and speak precisely. That's what I've noticed anyway. I am heading to the cottage for the summer. Not worrying about losing a job and just taking up a hobby because they have time to kill, instead of looking for a job that helps pays bills. In the UK, using the word holiday as a verb, having a great grandparent, it either means you're rich enough to have really great healthcare and people to look after you, or it means that all the women in the family got pregnant at 15, so it could go either way. Not bothering with refunds because it's not worth the hassle. Reading these comments makes me seem like I'm Bill Gates. And believe me when I say, I am not. Casually writing out a check for the full purchase price of a brand new car. Not knowing the difference between $5 and $50. This happened where my doctor said when I couldn't afford something for $50. And I would do it if it was $5. $5, $50, what's the difference? And I said, asks the doctor. People that do horse riding. My best friend does horse riding on a horse that's won 6 championships. They told me a basic horse untrained costs around 20,000 euros. Having nice teeth. Dental care is expensive. Prepaying utility bills, regularly occurring bills so you don't have to remember to pay them for a few months. Never having to interview. Pay attention to the watches people wear. If someone has 50k on their wrist and you don't even know the brand name well. Vacation home in Aspen, CO. Being very cultured. Nothing screams born into wealth like having a proper education that the rest of us missed out on. Because a 20-something was trying to teach 30 children their times tables all on her own. An Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, or Vacheron watch. They're brands that non-watch people aren't going to understand, and most are going to say, oh, that's a nice watch, or, oh, it's not a Rolex. Therefore it isn't the best. Go ahead and Google these brands. Lately it's seeing the gas meter read, full, Canada. Eating beef jerky. Viennetta ice cream and you can't tell me otherwise. Constant generosity. LZ on boat. Landing zone. You guys are pointing out things that aren't very quiet in regards to wealth. Something that quietly screams wealthy is a newish vehicle in its highest available trim. Like a 4Runner, F-150, or Suburban. It's going to have every single option imaginable. And be kept in perfect condition. Those are the types of wealthy people that don't care about showing off in a flashy way. Before you say, no, that's just upper middle class. Well, yes. But also no. Drive through some of the wealthiest neighborhoods in SoCal. 3 Arch Bay, Crescent Bay, Pacific Palisades. And you'll see what I mean. Maids, for me it's a sign that you can be rich. It's so weird to me. Not checking amounts, receipts before paying. What do you do? My dad's a doctor, lawyer, owns big company, etc. Skiing, snowboarding, overseas vacations. When someone hands you an Amex Black Card. When they call their lakeside mansion, the camp. As if it were a trailer house a couple miles from the water's edge. Having a guest room that is actually for guests, not a roommate. When I was in college, this new money-rich kid douchebag made fun of me at a party for being poor. For what it's worth, I was solidly middle class in absolute terms. But dirt poor according to him, I guess. One of the fraternity brothers at the house hosting the party overheard and told him to fuck off and leave. New money douchebag listened and slunk off. Host frat brother was wealthy as hell. Paying for everyone's food, picking up the tab, when done in a passive and nonchalant way. Then one car? That's my one of the idea of being rich, I guess. Cold sweat smile. Price, High to low. Your parents bought your first car for you, especially if it's newer than a few years. Not even thinking about healthcare. When someone doesn't join the lineup to board a plane, that's when you know they have their own, or are buddies with someone who does. Sadly for me it'll be going to see a doctor, specialist, every time you're sick, and being able to pay for the treatment. People who walk away before their card approves at the store cause they know it'll approve. I wish I had that confidence. Horses, or boats, or both. Double pad natural gas generator and multiple AC units. Fancy car with a Montana license plate seen driving in any state other than Montana. From what I've heard, rich people base their LLC out of Montana for tax benefits or some shit, and they register certain cars under said LLC so they reap tax benefits whilst enjoying their vehicle. Whenever they say they went to a small school in Boston, not knowing what basic food items cost, $8 for a gallon of milk is a good price, right? $5 for a dozen eggs makes sense, right? Rich people cannot wait to spend their money, and wealthy people do not want to spend their money. Certain clothing, handbag brands that are nice but don't have a logo everywhere. I'm much more impressed with a Goyard than a Louis Vuitton. Best financial advice I've ever heard. Same car, same house, same spouse. I think the difference comes down to mindset. Those who have earned and maintained money don't feel a need so show off, whereas those who want to be rich are focused on consumption and buying brands. The newest and designer brand. How many people do you know who hug new cars every few years? Move to bigger houses, etc. I have a colleague who is a legit billionaire. Family money. They have a nice house, but not overly outrageous as they live in a high cost of living area. But you'd never know it from how they act, dress. They have an older phone, etc. Their focus is more on helping others and leaving a lasting legacy. I remember we once went to dinner and they caught an Uber home as they didn't want to pay for parking. They would rather spend their money on experiences versus buying a new car when they could buy the whole dealership many times over. Having a vacation home. Not hesitating to eat in a restaurant with no prices on the menu. Saying, money doesn't bring you happiness. Whoever believes that BS has never went hungry and never had any financial trouble and is just trying to be humble. Monocles, top hats, household staff, solid gold toilets. Attractiveness. Sure, anybody can be attractive when they're 20. But it takes time and money to stay that way in your 30s and beyond. Plenty of sleep, good nutrition, exercise, nice hair and skin, well-fitting clothes, plastic surgery, etc. all quietly, sometimes loudly. Scream, money. This struck me the hardest on the beach in Cancun. The people, especially the women, hanging out in front of the Ritz-Carlton and similar luxury resorts looked so different from the people at the public and motel beaches. Spontaneity. Just talking about something or some place and doing it or booking it there and then. When someone picks up Starbucks and food every day at work, before work. That cost has to add up. What quietly screams, rich, wealthy? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more.